Good morning, students. Are you ready for today's class? Come on, let's begin. Yesterday we saw chapter 4, page number 46 and 47. Today we are going to begin from page number 48, paragraph number 7. I suppose you have done yesterday's homework. So, let's begin. Yesterday we saw on the page number 46 and 47 about Albert Einstein, when and where he was born and in which university he went to study, what idea or what does he talk about his sister Marja, and why does he talk or what type of toys he would play with. We also saw that how his mother wanted him to become a violinist. And thereafter, when he went to the school, what did his headmaster tell him? Then we saw how he felt in the school, very suffocated. He did not want to be there, and so he left the school. At the age of 15, he felt stifled over there. He also joined later on the German-speaking education that is in Switzerland city, which was very liberal, where he found a lot of freedom. Then in the paragraph number 6 yesterday we saw that he decided to study at the university in Zurich. He was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics. So after this we are here now on page number 48, paragraph number 7. So be with me, students. He also felt a special interest in a fellow student, Mileva Merrick, whom he found to be a clever creature. This young Serb had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. Now, students, I want you to underline some sentences. Come over here, underline that Mileva Merrick, whom he found to be clever creature. Now, he also felt a special interest in a fellow student. What is the fellow student? A companion who was with him. And what was her name? Mileva Merrick, whom he found to be a clever creature. She seems to be very clever, very smart for him. This young Serb, what is the meaning that young Serb? The person who came from Siberia. This young Serb had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. So she came to Switzerland in order to study because it was one among them where women could get the degrees. Then Einstein saw in her an ally against the Philistine, those people in his family and at the university with whom he was constantly at odds. Students, come over here. Now, what is the meaning of ally? What is the meaning of ally? A friend or an associate. And then see about the Philistine. What is given to you about Philistine? A word used disapprovingly to talk about people who do not like art, literature or music. And student, that was the common interest which Albert Einstein and Mileva had. Then, let's see what happens. The couple fell in love. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science with tenderness. Wrote Einstein, "How happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion." So what does Einstein say? Einstein says, "How happy and proud I shall be when we both," who are these both? Mileva and he. "When we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion." So he already starts dreaming about getting together And you know that they had some common interests. They fell in love with one another. They started exchanging the letters where they put the affection. They expressed their love for one another. And now, then, that is how they wanted to go ahead with. But what happens? Come to paragraph number 8. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. See student, by the age of 21, he was already graduated. He had already finished his studies in the university. But he was unemployed. He did not have job at that time. At the age of 21. Yesterday we saw his two photos. Yesterday on the previous page, that is page number 47, we saw his photos both the side at the age of 21 and then later on with mustache and all. And so student, till the age of 21, he did not have a job. He was graduated but did not get the job at once. But then later on what happens? He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons and finally secured a job in 1902. So students, pay attention. He worked as a teaching assistant, helping as a teacher, gave private lessons and finally secured, he got a job in 1902. What was the job? As a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. Underline that. As a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. So you could be asked the question maybe, what was the Einstein's first real job? Okay, then, while he was supposed to be assessing other people's invention, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Underline that. What is he called? He is what jokingly called as the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Underline this. Now, students, while he was also having a job, he was doing a job, what was he doing? While he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions over here, students, what did he do? Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. He was learning, not only was doing his job, but was learning from there what he could gain for himself, how he could develop his knowledge. And so that is how he was doing his own ideas, he was developing in secret. He did not tell everyone. Let's say, look here, what am I doing, what? No, he waited. He also had a lot of patience to bring out his ideas, but till then he was doing it in secret. Now, look at the paragraph number 9. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Underline. One of the famous papers of 1905, underline students, 1905. And what was that? It was about the Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. So see, what does he say? What is his theory? What he is saying? Look here. According to which time and distance are not absolute. Okay, they are not correct. Absolute, what is the meaning of it? Over here given to you. Measured in itself, not in relation to anything else. Okay, so indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. So both have to go together. Then what does he further say? What does he further say? From this followed the world's most famous formula which describes the relationship between mass and energy. Underline that. Between mass and energy. And what is the formula, student? E is equal to mc square. Now in the bracket something is given to you over here. Okay? Now you also have the box which is highlighted. So you will read that. It is about the equation. What is that E stands for, M stands for. Okay. Then come to the next page. Page number 49, paragraph number 10. Here. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Now, students, look here. Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics. Since physics was his passion, he was very much interested in mathematics and physics. He was busy solving the problems, the most difficult problems and all. But what was happening? Actually, his real life, his own life was unraveling. What is the meaning of raveling? Was starting to fail. It was getting affected. It wasn't getting very well. It wasn't getting on very well. Unraveling over here. Albert had wanted to marry Mileva right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. So see student, we saw over here how Albert was in love with her, how he liked, how they exchanged the love letters and all. But later on, when he wanted to get married, mother was against it. Mother was not allowing. And now, why was mother against it? We will see to it. His mother was against it. She thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. So, actually Mileva was 3 years elder to Einstein. In reality, sometimes you will see the wives are younger and the husbands are elder. They have at least 1-2 years or some months difference. But in this case, it was just the opposite. Mileva was 3 years elder to Einstein. And that is the reason why mother was not happy to get Einstein married to Mileva. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. Not only the age factor, but also her intelligence. She is a book like you, his mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. What did mother say? She is not only 3 years older to you, but also she is also like a book. She is also book like you. So Einstein put off the wedding. But then in the next paragraph, the pair finally married in January 1903. In 1903, they got married and they had 2 sons. They got married happily and they also got 2 sons. They gave birth, Mileva gave birth to 2 sons. But a few years later, the marriage faltered. The marriage did not work. It became weak. They could not continue their relationship. Mileva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. She was very intellectual. We saw over here. She was very clever. She was very intelligent. She was very smart. But then after the marriage, she was not happy. She was losing her intellectual ambition and was becoming unhappy person, unhappy housewife. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. In 1919, both of them got separated. They divorced one another and got separated in 1919. Students, how many children they had by then? They had already 2 sons. Mileva was happy? No, she wasn't happy. She was losing her intellectual ambition. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. The year they got separated, the same year he got married to his cousin sister Elsa. Now, students, we are going to stop over here. But before that, I just want to ask you some questions. Why did Einstein like Mileva? Why was he in love with her? Which I have already explained you. Because they had a common interest. They would match together. Did Einstein listen to his mother regarding the marriage? No. They got married. And when did they get married? When did Einstein get married to Mileva? January 1903. Okay. Now, students, how did Einstein become a gifted violinist? which we studied yesterday. Also, one more question about yesterday's, from yesterday's lesson syllabus. What opinion did the headmaster have regarding Albert? What did headmaster say about Albert? Students, I gave you these 2 to 3 questions from yesterday's class. I want you to read that again. Okay, so that you do not forget. Why was Einstein's mother against marrying Mileva Marik? That Einstein should not get married to Mileva because she was 3 years elder to him. Also, she was like him. She was book like him. They both were having the same ambition and all. And mother somewhere knew that they would not go along. Okay. So students, I am going to stop the class over here. I will show you the board work and send later on the board image also. Today also you will get the lessons through my online class through Nikul sir. Okay. Just see the board work now. Over here students, today I did not give you the meanings because the meanings are just written in the textbook. In the margin they are written for you. Today I have just given you 10 questions, 1 sentence, 1 answer question. 10 questions are there. You have to write it in your fair book, write today's date. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.